Hey all, it's Mike Prasad here at SiGMA Americas, and I'm here with Patrick Kelly from Shufti Pro, which is an ML AI-driven KYC solution, which is pretty cool, and global I hear as well. So tell me a little bit about what your company does and how it provides solutions for companies around the world.
Yep. No, great question. So yes, we are definitely a global company. We are in 230 countries, 150 plus languages, which is much more than most of our competitors out there. Unlike a lot of companies here in the Americas, our company started over in Europe, 2017. They built a product essentially from scratch, based on experience that they had. The two founders working in the payment processing side of things couldn't find a solution that would work globally, that was fast, accurate, etc. for onboarding purposes. So they developed the Shufti Pro product line for KYC, for KYI, KYB, and of course anti-money laundering, AML.
So you're able to drive user verification on multiple levels, light and heavy, globally in 150 languages. That brings up some unique challenges in terms of the formats of an identity, driver's license, scanning, and it's all done in an automated manner. So your technology that does that, tell me about how that works and some of the advantages of doing it in the methodology that you're using.
Yeah, so the technology, again, another good question. So the problem today is that a lot of companies out there will literally have people looking at documents and validating those documents, verifying and validating those documents. Based on the way our technology works, we actually train these documents, right? So that we can take information out via OCR or what have you. And then we've got this portfolio or library of documents across the world, different countries, where we know what goes into a U.S. driver's license or a Philippine passport or what have you, a Japanese passport. And so if somebody's onboarding, they'll use a license potentially, a driver's license, an ID card, depending on the country of course, or a passport. And so we've trained all of these documents. We take those documents and we match using a biometric, a facial biometric, to prove you are who you say you are. So think the onboarding experience, right? So if you think about the way we do it with AI and machine learning, the benefits to something like that are speed. We've talked about sort of coverage here, but you have to think about the end user or the consumer going online these days, right? COVID, post-COVID, so many people are doing things online, and if they spend more than a couple of minutes on a website and it's not working for them in that process, they're gone, right? So based on the technology that we've built, I mean that was all sort of in the back of their minds, and we will validate documents within, I say near real time, 20 seconds, 20, 30 seconds. Yeah, very compelling. Other thing I would say is from a pricing standpoint, we are extremely competitive in the market. We have multiple models. We're a very profitable company, so which is usually you won't say that in this kind of interview, but when you look at the competition out there in this space, ID verification space, there are a lot of companies out there who have received huge amounts of investment, capital. And they're still in the red. So we're very bullish about where we're going, very bullish about the products and solutions that we brought to market. And as I said, unlike most companies that start here in the Americas, they started there and we're new in the market. Not a lot of people know who Shufti Pro is, but they will in the very near future.
That's exciting. I think if you compound the challenges that, besides just speed and accuracy and knowing the documents, people have different format documents, older driver's license, older IDs, newer ones. But then you add the whole level of, in all these different countries, different inputs, so different phones, different quality of cameras. I mean, the computer vision and the ML and AI tools around what you're doing have to be pretty intelligent, pretty well trained in advance, it sounds like.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. And I probably don't know, enough about sort of to go 3 levels deep on what our CTO and our team has built. But I can tell you, typically when we get into a competitive situation, regardless of the name, people look at us and they can see the value of our technology. Say one more thing. the proof of that is 80% of the opportunities, the deals that we do, are replacements for other solutions. So if that tells you anything, it's okay, we might not know who Shufti Pro is, but when we try your technology, we can see that it works, that it's fast, that most importantly, it's a frictionless experience for the consumer.
Like it's a proven technology, better, faster, probably cheaper because it's automated versus human-based. Yeah,
I don't mind saying that's a true statement. It is. It's less expensive for sure. Because look, there are companies out there. We typically go, B to B to C, and those companies out there are looking at solutions that they can sort of grow as they grow as a business. Think of these crypto companies, right? They're smaller, right? And they want to onboard people, and so they're not going to hand you $500,000 just to get up and running. So we build all kinds of different sales schedules, sales models to do just that, grow as they grow.
So you bring up a good point about application of this technology. Obviously, more KYC allows higher value transactions, and speed is of the essence. So in this environment here at SiGMA Americas, we have iGaming, we have blockchain, we have a lot of crypto, exchanges, DeFi, etc. All of these things need global scale, multiple jurisdictions, multiple country identification to enable these high value, high frequency transactions. Do you find that there are many providers and competitors out there that can provide the speed that you can and the automation?
The honest answer is no and no. There are a lot of really good products out there, and so I would never sit here and bash anybody. Two things. One is, I think speed, yes, is definitely a competitive differentiator. The other piece of this is we built it from scratch. We own all of our technology. We own our IP. And many of our competitors do not. And that's important for a lot of different reasons, which we don't have to get into today. But I think that's critical for us. Really important for us that we own our own thing, our own IP. And so there's a lot of good companies out there, a lot of good products. But if I had to just say, price for sure, technology for sure, speed for sure. At the end of the day, what are we trying to do? Create a frictionless experience for the end user. But from a company standpoint, we're also, we're trying to prevent fraud. We're trying to prevent money laundering, right? We're doing all the things for the right reasons. And that's why, I think Shufti Pro is ready to take the next step here in the Americas.
Very exciting, especially with new markets, higher value transactions. The space, especially here in blockchain and crypto, it needs that. It needs that authentication. Like what you're providing is essential to bringing everything mainstream. And when you mentioned proprietary technology, that's really interesting because it means that your AI and machine learning trained models are proprietary. You have all the countries, and I don't know very many solution providers that have 150 countries, and that's critical.
230 countries.
230 countries.
250 plus languages.
Oh, wow, okay, even more. So for every company here today, they need global solutions. That's pretty global.
Yeah. So again, one of our value statements or value points when we're looking at when we're talking to service providers is definitely that, right? A lot of companies that start here in the Americas think everything starts on the East Coast and ends on the West Coast, as you know. That's not the world we live in today, right? Again, I mentioned COVID earlier. COVID, post-COVID now, so many people are online, right? Everything seems to be done online these days. So it's a technology that's necessary as sort of we go forward here. There are very few companies that just do business in one country these days, right? So to your point, 230 countries, and think about the number of documents in each country that you need to get access to, that you need to train, as I said before. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, and so our team has done a fantastic job on that front.
Super exciting, especially in the global crypto economy. What are some of the trends and opportunities that you see being here at SiGMA Americas?
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. I've talked to a number of sort of companies here on the gaming front, and a lot of it has to do with making sure people on the other side that they're dealing with, because they're not face to face with them, are who they say they are. So proving that, proving addresses, right? Proving the age verification thing I said to you earlier. So being able to do that up front I think seems to be a value to a lot of these vendors that I've talked to here.
Well, a lot of them deal with issues such as fraud, and especially when you have a lack of verification, that bites them in the end. So having it up front enables a higher value transaction, right?
Think about like Russia today, right? And all of the sort of the world events that are happening there. Anti-money laundering is a major issue, right? Oligarchs moving around money, things like that. And so, we actually have a solution for AML. It's not just a one-shot deal. It's sort of an ongoing anti-money laundering check to make sure that you're dealing with the right people and not dealing with the bad guys, if you will. So there's a lot more to it than just, the things that I mentioned earlier, right? So fraud certainly is sort of at the top of the list.
That's amazing. I think for a lot of companies here, that is something, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who are going to get stuck with holding the bag if something comes up like that.
100%. Yeah, you nailed it, and so companies can never be too careful. We follow the laws, all of the gaming laws specifically. Here we've got a number of gaming clients, by the way, that we do deal with across the globe. We want to make sure that we are actually up to speed when it comes to GDPR and all of the other privacy, rules and regulations across the globe, which we are.
You saw that problem from. This is great. So how, it's our first SiGMA Americas as a whole, first time in Canada, first time in the region. How are you finding it so far?
So, interesting fun fact. This isn't my first time in Canada. I used to work for a company years ago. I used to run a business unit in Canada. Very familiar with Canada. I've actually been to the Calgary Stampede, which most Canadians have never been to. It's a wonderful country. But this is my first time at SiGMA. It's very exciting. A lot of these folks are really interesting people. Really interesting people that are, and they're from all over the world. They have some great stories, living on the edge. A lot of these people, but they're very passionate about what they do, and I love to see it. So, yeah, it's been fun.
It was exciting, I think, hearing about your company and also the solution you bring, because all of these companies here, they need KYC or some type of authentication, especially as they're coming to new markets. And in the Americas, where the systems are a little more stringent, it's even more critical. So what you're doing is a great solution. Thank you so much for your time. And any closing thoughts you have around what you're seeing or trends or insights?
No, I would just like to say thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today. For anybody out there who is looking for a KYC solution, an inexpensive KYC solution that will scale across multiple markets, multiple verticals, please give us a call. We'd be happy to speak with you.
There's one last question on that, just so anyone listening and watching can know. What is the type of company size? What's the minimum company size that you can connect with?
That is, it may be the best question, because it doesn't matter. It could be 100 people, it could be 1 million people, it could be 1 billion people. It really doesn't matter. If you need it, you need it, right? A lot of these companies, if they're not abiding by they could go out of business, right? Like that. So we don't typically look at the size of the company. To be perfectly honest with you, we don't. It doesn't matter. Small company, medium-sized company, large company. Everybody loves to close the big one, but guess what? There's a lot of crypto companies out there, that are small, just getting started, and they need help too, and that's what we're here for.
There's a lot of startups here today that they need this. It's critical to their infrastructure. They can't scale without it. If they start without it and they have a fraud issue that could destroy them, and you're an accessible solution. So it's exciting, and thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much.